gonna proc it now. By Jackson Aurelia. Jackson Aurelia. Gonna proc it now. Gonna proc it now. Proc it Jackson Aurelia. T-Force.
Welcome to the rework of the T-Force. Now we going hard cause we bumping at the beat source. It's a 3-course dinner of dudes bringing the news and stats, interviews and casts from the pro scene. So fresh and so clean, like you're leaning with Nami in the bot lane. Keep it hot like brand, practicing his dot game. Give it to you easy like you're Resi in a bot game. Imagine Draven at prime time. Now ulti like LeBlanc can copy that 4 times, but manlier. Knock it up like Malphite planning a family-er. You gotta be tuned in like Sona on the ed wall. Get on the chat call. Can a podcast really be all that? Of course. How do 4 guys make a Triforce?
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. Gotta put the correct overlay on because I was playing the song without the We Are live screen. But you know what? We're here and we're ready to talk about patch 5.12. But first of all, I'm just gonna run down everybody. So DeClaude's here.
Yep.
Punch is here.
Good evening.
Daze is back.
Hey.
Hi Daze. And Chira's here.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, so we really don't have that many announcements, if any at all, this week because we need to jump in and talk about patch 5.12. The only other announcement I have is this podcast will be on your ear holes on Friday the 26th. That leaves you with 4 days to sign up for Patreon if you want to get next month's and June's Champions Select podcasts. So we have Nunu and Morgana for this month, and we're going to have Jinx, it sounds like, for the AD carry, and we're going to have some kind of mid. We haven't figured out the mid, right, Daze?
No, we're going to do a poll on it on Reddit. So thanks to everybody on Reddit who voted for the ADC. It was kind of a runaway. Like, we had Ashe and Kate at like 28% each, and then the rest was all Jinx. So people seem to be excited about that. So hopefully we'll find you a really good guest, and we'll be able to get that out soon.
What I want to know... What? Guess?
That they get excited about Jinx?
It was a runaway.
Passive?
No, it wasn't meant to be a pun.
She can run away.
I quit.
When she gets
all right,
excited.
bye, guys.
Well done,
did you miss the last podcast? Because I'm pretty sure I quit the last podcast too.
No, that was good. Whether it was intended or not.
What I want to know is why there's 118 total votes, but only 77 or no, I think there's like 80 total patrons right now. So where are those extra 40 people at? Like, you voted, but how are you going to listen to it? Anyway, I just think it's funny.
Maybe they're gonna patron up.
Hey, whatever.
And on Friday, we get to record the Nunu one, so that should be out soon for everybody.
Oh man, I can't wait to listen
Wicked
to those.
excited for that one.
She's
Challenger
wicked
Nunu
excited. You
player.
can tell she's from Boston.
Well, both Adam and I have been playing a lot of Nunu lately, so...
Yes, AP Nunu.
Yeah.
Poor AP Nunu, though. Well, I guess you can Cinderhulk AP Nunu. He's not out of there. Fiddlesticks jungle, though. Rip. No more Magus. So yeah, let's jump into patch 5.12. Well, I first want to go back. Monday we talked about patch 5.12, but we were pulling it from the PBE notes. So we're going to go back and fix some of the things that we talked about because they came out differently than specifically the Elise stuff. Because even in the patch notes, it's worded incorrectly.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're just going to jump right into Elise. Punch probably has the document open right now, and he can shed some light onto that.
I normally do. But I don't this time. You got it open, Claude?
Yes, you were talking about them having the wording wrong, and that's on E-Repel, which says, get it off, increases the bonus damage and healing from Elise's spider form attacks by 40, 55, 70, 85, 100% for 5 seconds upon landing. Spider form attacks should be what, Chira?
Spiderling attacks.
It should be Spiderling attacks.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about maxing E first and dropping down with 100% bonus damage and queuing people in the face.
I'm thinking you were going to be able to combo that with abilities for like basically Sheen procs for your Sheen procs with your W and Q and a bunch of crazy stuff.
But you know what? I watched the rundown, and on the rundown they were saying, you know, you should make the decision whether you want to go in with the repel. You won't have it to escape, but you'll have all that extra damage. Like, it seems like they thought it was spider form attacks too. So
well, and here's the other thing. Even
you
with
tested it, or does
I was playing it. It wasn't. The damage wasn't noticeable. It really wasn't noticeable. I will say the Runeglaive enchant damage was the most noticeable thing, just because of the sort of playstyle Elise falls into. The thing is, even if Repel was giving a damage bonus to the spider form auto attacks, not many people are standing in one spot for very long to let Elise smack them. So it comes down to the usual 3 auto attack rule. even with an attack speed buff, it wouldn't have made that major of a difference one way or another.
I'm even furthermore confused because when they clarified, and I'm looking at the wiki as well, it also says Elise's basic attacks in spider form. So the fact that it only affects her spiderlings just doesn't make any sense. Somebody screwed up.
Yeah, this is coming from what is it? Rickless Abandon on Twitter. He's one of the Riot devs, and he was saying that the base heal amount of Elise on hit is wrong. Should be 4, 6, 8, 10 plus 10% of the ability power. And her Venomous Bite is not buffed by Repel. Only on hit magic damage and healing from her basic attack passive is enhanced.
Which is, yes. So her spider form attack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is her spiderling attack.
No, it's her spider form attack. Her
it's
basic
spider
attack's
form
in spider
attack.
form.
Yes.
Right, okay. That's what I thought it was.
all right,
Then you're
I'm
talking about
confused
spider
now.
wings.
To clarify, when Elise is in spider form, she gets like an on-hit flat amount of damage that scales with level of like just bonus damage. Like you can almost look at it as sort of a baked-in a magic damage. Not you could call it Sheen Proc, but it's more of like Blade of the Rune King almost. Except it just does like a flat amount of magic damage. It's basically Warwick's
W.
Yeah, his W.
Because right now, at level 16 with max rank Repel, Elise would deal 80 plus 60% ability power, magic damage, and heal for 20 plus 20% ability power on each basic attack in spider form.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds significant.
But realistically, it's only 2 attacks in 5 seconds, or maybe 3 attacks.
I read it. I was confused. I was reading it as, okay, you were saying that her spiderlings are the only things that have the increased damage from the Repel. But it's not the spiderlings.
It's her spider form. Yes,
Okay.
it's her spider form. And it's only her spider form. She doesn't get a bonus on any of her damage from the Q, which would have been pretty cool, and she kind of needs it right now.
Of her spider form attacks, so it makes you think, okay, her abilities, but it's just her smacking you with her thing.
It's her spider form auto attack.
Right.
There you go.
And that's how they should have phrased it.
Yes.
Spider form auto attack, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, and I don't know necessarily if this is a bug or if it was just a weird thing in one of my games, but I was playing Elise, and when you repel, certain times if you don't select an enemy champion to repel on and you're using Smartcast, the cursor stays as a target reticle, and you can't ping or select the mini map or do anything until you use repel on an enemy champion. Once it takes you up into the air. So you are basically boned until you use repel on somebody.
Please, somebody come let me down.
Yeah, it was really, really frustrating. So I don't know if that's just, it might just be something wrong with my client, or it might be something wrong with repel. I'm gonna do way more testing to see what the deal is.
Yeah, wait. Why did they word this the same way they worded spider form? Each of Elise's basic attacks in spider form. Why didn't they just say the same damn thing for repel? Repel, they said Elise's spider form attacks.
I don't know.
I mean that would have totally fixed all this confusion up.
Yeah,
they would just called it Elise's basic attacks in spider form. I just think it's funny looking at the notes again.
I just tested it right now actually, and at level 1 I took repel, and I was doing 26 damage, just auto attacking, and then on the Krugs, I repelled and I was doing 36 damage while I was active. So yeah, it was 10 extra damage, which is I guess good for the beginning, but maybe you get repel level 2 and you're clear.
And I will say with the built-in sustain that she just gets permanently for being in spider form. In the first clear of the jungle, the first clear of the jungle, I didn't have to back, and I never dropped below 3/4 health. I cleared the entire jungle, no problem. Didn't drop below 3/4 health.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to take repel level 2 because of the Q, because of W giving you attack speed.
Right. Yeah.
And the Q execute. Plus the abilities that they
it's not just that either. It also has to do with the fact that you basically get 4 abilities. You can front load damage into camps if you take Q and W early, and if you use your spiderlings to tank for you to eat some of that early damage, they're gonna die. So you need to get your spiderlings back, and the only way you can do that is by casting abilities in human form.
That is Elise. Do you think these changes really change her all that much? turn
I
her
said,
into a terror, I guess, with Runeglaive.
the most noticeable thing was Runeglaive and the fact that if you're building kind of the same way you were before, where you're going kind of CDR tanky, and you get that 10% CDR from Runeglaive and whatnot, you get 40% CDR so fast, and you never have to worry about mana, because every time Runeglaive pops and you're not using mana because you're in spider form killing things, you get like a quarter of your mana back every time you proc that thing.
I'm
so
sure everybody's doing that too, though. That's what's playing right now.
So like you have no mana issues whatsoever, and you can basically just dish blue out to whoever wants it. I mean, if you're not CDR capped, but I don't think these changes necessarily hit the issues that Elise was having. It makes her early clear that much easier, but she still kind of falls into the same spot mid and late game that she did previously.
Well, from what I'm reading, Dexter, he was an Elise player, and he's already on Twitter saying that he thinks Elise is going to be good and competitive because a lot of games aren't going past level 13 anyway.
Right.
With her. And so having that extra damage front loaded onto your auto attacks makes her more of a threat in competitive play.
Well, and that's the other thing too with Runeglaive. You get in and you do 140 bonus damage on that next hit, which is pretty significant. At least by the end of the game, I was doing 140 bonus on the last hit, and I did end up getting full build straight tank, but I was still pretty squishy compared to a lot of the other common junglers. And yeah, you're doing a bit more damage if people are standing still, but if people know what to do and they're peeling you, and
you notice how squishy you are because you were using your E to engage, weren't you?
I was
instead of saving it to escape.
No. Yeah, you get used to learning what to do with repel and whether you need to bait somebody into
even with the changes. You weren't trying to test. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to just go super aggressive just to see what the changes were. I see the repel changes as more of icing on the cake for when you do decide to all in. But
or duel.
At the same time, there is a big benefit to going aggressive on somebody, getting in with Q, eating a bunch of damage, and then slipping out with your E so that you basically ate all that damage and can get out, and your team was doing damage to a target that probably can't do the same.
Well, I want to touch on Galio real quick, because I was able to actually get an Aram in when I played against the Galio, and that new ultimate is pretty gnarly.
The damage?
The damage.
I heard somebody was
an ARAM, so.
Well, I mean, even that's max, that's max build or 2-3 item build Galio.
A couple of people have been like really comparing it to toward like a borderline a Maokai ult.
Yeah, I noticed there was like a different, maybe I'm drunk, but I noticed there was a different particle. Like you could tell when he was, every time he charged, every time someone's auto attacking him, there was little particles around people that were appearing. So
I believe he was on the list of particles they updated.
Was he on the list in the bottom? Yeah, I definitely noticed some kind of different particles that came out of Galio, so you can tell when he ults and what he's doing and what people are hitting him and whatnot. But
Brand Corky Galio Nautilus.
There you go. Yeah, the damage is, I mean, like I said, gnarly is the word to use for this because it has an 80% maximum damage cap on it, and it's 10% per hit. So if you're, like, if in an Aram, for example, he would grab he'd grab like Xin Zhao and Ezreal, who are auto attack, based and auto attacking fairly quickly. So he's getting more damage more quickly. The dude would just he one shot. I watched him one shot in Ezreal from full. It was great.
Wow.
Really, from full health. Yeah. Well, in an Aram again.
It was an Aram. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody out there voting for Daze's Patreon, Galio. There's your mid pick. She will find the top Galio player.
I think.
I'm sure one exists out there somewhere.
There's a Chinese player who plays Galio. Did last season.
Does he speak English?
God knows.
I was gonna say I think there might be language barrier issues there, but you never know.
You'll overcome it. I have faith in
Google
you.
Translate.
We'll figure it out.
Galio was the only other one I really Jarvan. I think Jarvan was the other one we wanted to touch on because we didn't really talk about it, and they talk about in the flavor text, if I remember correctly, that you can double standard now at max rank.
Well, I mean, you need cooldown reduction to hit that still.
Right.
But it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible to double standard with CDR now, so you have more than one escape route or engage route, which is pretty interesting and neat.
I think it was like a 6.8 second cooldown at 40% CDR, and it lasts for 8 seconds. So you can have 2 standards down for about 2 seconds.
Wow,
cool.
We're playing Leapfrog.
Yeah.
We talked about Jax. We talked about Lux and how much that'll do. We talked about Rise and how you will want to front load everything to Q now. Tryndamere's auto attack animation being smoother is awesome.
I've heard a couple of people saying that the Tryndamere thing is going to be much bigger than people anticipate it's going to be.
I can imagine actually,
like,
be able to weave auto attacks properly in.
And I know on a couple streams they were talking about how with like changes to turrets and whatnot, like just over the past few patches, the push champions might see a comeback, and Tryndamere was always like that annoying guy who, if he was just left alone to do his thing in lane, yeah, he'll never be gone. And if you want to 1v1 him, you're probably not gonna win. So
God damn that Tryndamere.
And Tryndamere is pretty oppressive in lane. Honestly, like he heals for quite a bit. I've seen people who understand how to use auto attacks properly to keep the wave so it doesn't push hard, and they can trade and heal and stay at full life without having to buy extra potions.
And if you just let him auto attack minions early without really making him pay to get that rage bonus, and he can build up full rage before you can do anything to him, or you can kill him before he gets to you, he's going to be critting you way more often. And now that he can move crit and he doesn't risk canceling that attack, it's going to be more oppressive if he can get that rage early to just start chunking you for all of your health.
16% more effective, according to the patch notes, which seems pretty huge. That's per crit.
If I don't have to stop and watch the whole damn animation fly up over my head and smack somebody, I don't feel like I'm stopping to auto attack. You know, if that's all that fixed, then it's an.
By the way, what
change.
you touched on, Adam, how you can build the rage and everything without pushing the lane. That's hitting the caster minions.
Yeah, going to the back.
That's
smacking
what it is.
people.
You hit the back ones, and that one shouldn't push the lane.
There was a small thing that Ekko got that we didn't see.
Did we miss
You
something?
notice that? On this chrono break, the damage radius was reduced from 400 to 375.
Oh, yeah.
So slight change. And I believe it was just the mana cost increase that we saw in the patch, but or the PvE, but we did not see this.
Good point. I noticed that too. It's like, oh, interesting. 25 less.
I think they changed I don't remember the passive Z drive base damage being changed. Did we talk about that?
No, I don't think that was there either.
Because it was 15 plus 12 per level. Now it's 10 plus 10 per level.
So damage on his passive, and his passive comes out slower at the early game because of his attack speed reduction too. So overall, his burst has been touched on a little bit.
It's been hamstrung a little bit.
Yes.
Pretty significant at max level, though.
His battery is winding down. I don't know. There's a pun here with time slowing down and stopping, but I can't find it.
It's in there somewhere.
It's not the time for
winding and slowing.
Right. Well, let's move on and talk about Runeglaive, and then we will jump into defensive masteries. So, Runeglaive, for those of you who aren't in the know, Magus has been removed from the game.
It's gone.
It's gone forever. Runeglaive is now the item for AP junglers to pick up. It is a tier 2 jungle item plus Sheen plus 200 gold for 2,250 gold total. The ability power is 40. The cooldown reduction is 10%. The total mana is 200, and his unique passive called Spellblade. After using an ability, the next basic attack is converted into magic damage and deals 75% base attack damage plus 0.3 ability power, bonus damage on hit in an area of effect around the target, and restores 8% of your missing mana.
And the amount of mana that you get back is noticeable.
8% of your missing mana is significant.
Really
noticeable.
noticeable.
That's a significant amount.
Yeah, to the point where I don't know that many. If you're threading Spellblades correctly, you shouldn't ever have mana issues.
What's the global cooldown on it?
1.5 seconds.
Okay. Same machine. Right.
1.5.
But 1.5 seconds is nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
For something giving you that much mana back.
Yeah.
Something to point out with this is that the next biggest basic attack is converted into magic damage. That's something that I think a lot of people will look over.
So your magic pen helps.
I understand this has ability power. Phoenix, or is it Phoenix or Tiger that has...
Phoenix Udyr is the magic.
Could you see a Phoenix Udyr with Runeglaive running around? I know it scales off of ability power, but it's an interesting thought.
You could run that Gnasher's Tooth Phoenix Udyr build.
Yes! Yes!
Sounds great.
It sounds terrible.
I want you to try it. It sounds amazing.
Going APU, dear boys. Let's do it.
Think about the shields.
I don't know. This
item's Kale.
so niche on
Diana.
so many. Yeah, it's really good on Diana.
Nidalee is really good with it right now too.
Yeah,
Well, it's pretty much her passive.
Yeah, it is her passive, but it's her passive, and she never has mana issues anymore, which means she's using more abilities to clear the jungle. But I don't know. I almost feel like this is targeted for those. I mean, it kind of is targeted for those auto-attacking AP bruisery, like AP fighter junglers, and it's leaving behind. It definitely leaves behind Fiddlesticks.
They do talk about Fiddlesticks in the context. They mentioned that they don't think this is going to hurt him too badly, since according to them, many Fiddle mages are skipping their Magus to get Zhonya's early.
Yep, and I could definitely see that being the case, but then at the same time, you're going to be locked into not really having like you're not going to have a great kind of.
You have less options.
You don't have the easy stats that one of these smitems would provide otherwise. Because what are you going to do? Build Cinder Hulk on Fiddlesticks? Because I don't really see that happening. And Runeglaive just on him. You barely get a huge benefit out of it.
For anyone who's like just gonna start out with Fiddlesticks or is checking out like pro builds, be really careful because on pro builds it's showing all of the pros building Runeglaive like 10 days ago because it just changed the name from Magus to Runeglaive. So just be careful because that's not the same item. So that's actually probably a really good not they would have built.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also showing defensive masteries as if it was last patch and not this patch.
Right. Right. So be really careful with pro builds for the next couple weeks, just until everything gets changed around.
I'd like this item. I don't like that I don't like that there aren't a lot of auto attack mages, or the ones that are out there are kind of niche, and the fact that it's like Kale, Nidalee, Diana.
Yeah.
There was a couple
throw Elise in there.
Ekko will really like this item, so Jungle Ekko got a little bit more powerful.
But the thing is,
Jungle Akali?
Aren't most AP junglers auto attack based?
Everyone but Fiddle, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Or Zac, but I mean Zac's building Cinder Hulk. So.
Yeah, he's gonna be getting Cinder Hulk. He gets no benefit otherwise.
So, I mean, a lot of the AP junglers are tanky too. When you have someone like Zac or Sejuani or something like that, they tend to build the tankier routes.
Well, there really aren't any AP junglers other than Diana and formerly, I guess, Elise, because she was kind of a hybrid damage tank.
Evelyn.
Evelyn, Evelyn's even more AD now than she was after they changed her stuff.
Cho'Gath.
So, yeah, but you're not seeing like full AP Cho'Gaths out of the jungle. Just like the only full AP sort of champions you're gonna see out of the jungle is Diana. Potentially, Diana, you might see a random Kale every once in a while, and then Fiddlesticks. Otherwise, they're tanks.
Nidalee was coming out of the jungle with 8.
And that's fine too. You're not. Don't even say you're seeing Jungle Karthus because you're not.
Yeah, or Jungle TF.
Like that, yeah, that's like saying you're seeing Jungle Teemo, and just because we saw it one time ever doesn't mean that it's a thing.
And then Jungle Malzahar is AD anyway, so that takes him out of that group.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing.
What about Jungle Karma?
There you go.
I hate you.
They brought that up on the rundown, by the way. The patch rundown.
What, Jungle Karma?
Yep.
Oh God. Yeah.
Skarzard brought it up.
Wrecker's happy. I'm sure we'll see.
He is.
Jungle Morgana.
Jungle Morgana.
Yeah, that Jungle Morgana.
I could see Gragas building this as well, like solo queue Gragas, not LCS Gragas.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. I couldn't imagine competitive Gragas getting
I still think he's better with Cinder Hulk. I mean, he gets his percent health. Yeah,
and for the most part, he's building tanky out of the jungle anyway.
Right, right. I would picture him building Cinder Hulk, not this.
I will say, Runeglaive is going to piss off a ton of laners in solo queue, because if you build this item and then you go and you tax a lane, kill a lot of the lane.
Yeah,
portion the lane.
Which is fine if you know what you're doing and like you can pick up a kill and then just shove the turret really quickly, because this thing mows down minion waves. It's pretty awesome. I could clear minion waves ridiculously fast, but I'm also playing somebody with low CD on an ability like Elise, who can Q basically once every time you can use it.
Is this item powerful enough that we could see Diana out of the top lane with Smite?
Yes, and you know what? I think so because also they mentioned this in the rundown as well. Riot was actually intending on this. They were saying, look, we're trying to open up more options for split pushers. And
well, this gives any of those AP auto attack people the ability to split push with
split push, right? Yeah. Exactly. So, and then they were saying we might see some of those AP top laners taking Smite now for the Runeglaive. So
I
that's a good observation. They specifically said it. So
I cannot watch it. tell you enough how quickly you can clear a fat minion wave with a Runeglaive if you can spam abilities. It's pretty impressive.
Which should, I guess, it'll help you if you're on your back foot. Maybe keep them from pushing the lane so hard since they nerfed the inhibitor turrets. Did we talk about that the last time? The inhibitor turret lasers?
We hadn't made it to it yet, no.
Okay. Well, it'll help offset that a little bit, I guess, because if you got somebody with one of these on here, they can keep the waves cleared so they're not pushing as hard.
The only people I can see out of the top lane running this is Diana and Nidalee. Maybe a Poppy, but you're never going to see... I mean, I won't say never. We saw her in Unicorns of Love.
Never say never.
Yeah, but T-Force is really good on Poppy. I'm not sure she'd swap out for this.
Sure.
Right. Well, that was one of the initial things. I'm going through the
champ list right now, trying to think of any top laners that would be AP that would want Smite, that would think about it. And Diana and, maybe Akali, probably not.
I could maybe make an argument.
I think Akali, just like Gunbleed, is too important on her. Good. Like she has her core build. It's like Kayle. Kayle has her core builds, and if you take something away from it, then you're taking away a big power spike for her.
Not to mention, Akali already has wave clear with her E, so it's not something that's like a major priority on her.
Exactly, and Kayle has wave clear with her E as well.
With Kayle.
Yeah, Diana's got wave clear as well. As long as you time your passive properly, you can clear wave really quickly. Use your R in the back line and bam. But this makes it even better, so I don't know, I could see it.
Yeah, she kind of has to spend more mana to do it.
Right.
It's Diana's problem. But the missing mana restoration here.
What you forget, too, is the missing mana thing is huge, and then you can also get like the small jungle buffs from Gromp if you're on bottom side top lane. Like there are certain little advantages you can get that aren't just the fact that
top lane with this.
8% mana back on hitting monsters.
Let's do Nivea. Have her throw that little auto attack more.
God.
That's no moving auto
attack.
The
only reason I could see this being on somebody
brand,
like potentially on either Kayle or Akali, is the fact that challenging Smite still reduces the amount of damage taken. So like you're already somebody.
You just got to remember you don't have flash at that point, and you have to substitute it. If you are to the top lane, you have to have teleport. So.
Or you say that,
two,
but maybe
that core build.
Maybe that changes things because if the other person takes teleport, then it's a guaranteed tower because you can just shove it all the way there. So like you might say that maybe like
duelist.
If split pushing comes back, maybe you won't need that teleport. For like if it comes back off these champions by taking the smite for that, you might not need teleport because if somebody else takes teleport, isn't able to do anything with it, teleports and is gone, you basically took their tower and then cleared all the way to their next turret. And the time it takes them to back and then run the lane.
Hey, do you think Fizz? What do you think about Fizz? I don't play Fizz, but it seems like it would work well on him.
Might be good on Fizz jungle.
I still see him in the jungle every now and then.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Speaking to teleport, I'm actually but after playing some solo queue and some normal games, I would say if you're like under gold 3, you might be better off just running Ignite into the top lane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I definitely agree.
And instead of Ignite, you're doing Smite, so you're doing Challenging Smite, or you're doing Smite Ignite or something. Like, I don't see enough people use teleport properly if you're below Platinum.
It takes a lot getting used to.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Punch would be able to talk about that if we ever gotten that conversation. So.
It's not even that it takes so much getting used to. It's if they use teleport improperly and they just wasted a game-changing summoner spell if used correctly, and you have Ignite, and you get a kill with it, and they don't get anything out of their teleports.
Yeah.
That's really, really big, especially, and here's the thing with Ignite too. Let's say that you don't get a kill using Ignite, but you're able to damage somebody so much that they can't trade with you anymore, or they can't farm their lane.
What is it, season 3 where you blew Ignite
it's still worth it. Like,
right. It is.
it can be.
It teeters on a knife's edge, that the laning phase, and you can just push in your favor just by igniting them.
Well, and not to mention the threat of somebody having ignite can be enough to keep you from all-inning somebody potentially knowing that they can flip and ignite you.
Which under that level we were talking about, they probably wouldn't worry about too much.
Right.
But the teleport, there's a sweet spot because you either use it too much to get back to lane, or you hold on to it all game and never use it for anything.
And
you have to know when to use it.
Too many people afraid to let their tower drop when you could be making game-changing plays someplace else, which includes a tower.
The other
Right,
problem with low-level solo queue and support is there's not a lot of coordination with your teammates, because a lot of times to get like a successful teleport off, especially like in bot lane, you kind of have to bait that fight. Like you have to get them to come into you. So to do that, or top lane, say you do manage to get like a great teleport off, you see your bot lane fighting and you're going to come in behind, and all of a sudden your bot lane's back at your tower and you just died, and then they're like raging at you for no reason because they didn't follow up. So there's just a lot of like working parts and that need to go with that, and that's a lot for low level solo queue.
I was pretty lucky to be able to learn how to use teleport because I was playing on a team of 5 people. I guess in hindsight, it kind of hurt them a lot because I was screwing up and thereby hurting my ranked 5 team. But by the time I got to solo queue, I knew how to use it.
Yeah,
I've done that. I've been at like no health back. I was like, I have teleport to help a dragon. They're already doing dragon, and Adam was yelling at me. He's like, teleport. I'm like, well, I gotta heal. I shouldn't have said that I have teleport at that time because I couldn't teleport at that time.
Since we're on the teleport topic, I'm gonna maybe take it out with this. My number one pet peeve for anybody who has teleport is when they say, "Tell me when to teleport." I don't have time to tell my team to engage a team fight and tell you to teleport.
Yeah.
And I'm not being mean when I yell at you and say that. It's just you just need to try it and see if it works, because I can't say teleport now because I have to pay attention to whatever else is going on in the entire team fight. So yeah, figure it out on your own. I can't. I mean, maybe we should make a compilation of really good teleports to give you an idea how. But then we'd have to talk about this was what I was thinking when this happened.
Yeah, I've done that and I felt bad for it. I've done that. I've been like, tell me when to teleport when I've been doing stuff. And then you yelled at me. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I wouldn't want to look at the other champion and say teleport now, or But although I do that sometimes, like I'll drop a ward and say, hey, you can come, teleport. We're initiating this. But there's other nifty things you can do with it. For example, saving that Baroned up cannon minion a few hits on the turret and then canceling it, because it makes it invulnerable to the axe, etc. So
I love that our conversation went from patch notes into how to use
teleport.
Like
I'm wearing purple, so it's
all right. Let's talk.
Major tangent.
Yeah, let's talk about defensive masteries because they changed a bunch of them. Overall, my opinion of defensive mastery changes. It's not that I don't like them. Like I don't think they make the tree any better or any worse than where it was at, essentially. And that's primarily because they swapped Runic. Okay, I'm going to start with Runic Blessing because they swapped Runic Blessing for another 1 point shitty ass trash tier talent. Like,
thank goodness.
It's bad. Because it is now Runic Blessing is now adaptive armor, which you gain 4% of your bonus armor as magic resist if you have more armor than bonus magic resist, and the vice versa for magic resistant armor. At 200 bonus armor, you only gain 8 magic resist.
Mm-hmm.
Mother of God.
That's like the most trash tier talent ever.
No.
It's hilarious.
It looks great when you read it. You're like, yeah, get more armor. It'll help level it. No. 8 more for 200.
The one thing is that they also increased the percentage of bonus armor and magic resist you get in another talent. But the problem is you just have to spend way too many points to get all of that.
Yeah.
That can scale really well in the late game, but you got to spend a ton of points for masteries that don't help you in the early game, which is when they're primarily useful.
Yeah,
right.
you could spend. Okay, so it takes 5 points to get enchanted armor and adaptive armor. You're already spending 3 points to get at least hardiness or resistance, which is magic resist and armor. You might as well take that extra 5 points that you'd be dumping later and put it into resistance, which is 3, evasive, which is 1, and reinforced armor, which is 1. Which is all of the pieces that go in with the armor and magic resist. Because you're just reducing area effect damage and critical strike damage that you would take if you're a tank.
They said that they didn't want to alter it too much because we're mid-season, and I understand that. But this doesn't address a lot of the big problems with the defensive tree, which is that the utility tree is just a lot better.
Yeah.
So even the tank junglers and things, like the people who could take this are taking some, like they go like halfway down and they take more in the utility tree because the utility tree is just so much more worth it overall on most champions.
Well, yeah, if we go down and let's look at that, like right now, Swiftness is in tier 1, where that is reduced effectiveness of slows, and that is situational based on the game.
It's a 2-pointer now, though.
And it's a 2-pointer, right? It was a 1-pointer, but it does give you more. It gives you 15% rather than the...
10.
It gives you 15, right?
Right,
yeah.
rather than 10.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than 10, yeah, okay. Yeah, and now you have Tenacious, which is a 1.1, reduces the duration of crowd control effects. That was your 21-point talent. It is now down there about 14. What is it? 10 points. Sorry, no, 11 points.
And nerfed.
Yeah, and nerfed.
Where oppression was.
Yeah.
Right, it is where oppression was. And oppression's been moved down further than a tree, where it reduces damage taken by 2% from enemies that have impaired movement.
Now that one kind of confuses me because they made it harder to get, and then they reduced the effectiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's make it worse.
And put it
Yeah,
further
I'm not-
down in the tree when it should
not
be
sold
better.
Like I know I'm supposed to take that into context with the rest of the changes they made, but I feel like the rest of the changes just like we said, kind of made the tree worse. So
Right now,
I'm not sure I understand that one fully.
I look at this entire tree, and I only want to go down to reinforced armor and evasive for the most part. Like maybe perseverance and second wind, where you gain that extra healing. Like Nudu would really like that extra, healing.
Mundo would still get that.
Mundo, Maokai, maybe, depending. But enchanted armor, where you gain increases bonus armor magic resist, and legendary guardian. I think there's a case for it.
No,
but do you need it? Like, do you need to put that extra 5 points to go down to 21 when you could dump that into extra damage for an early clear or extra utility, like Day said in the utility tree? It's a toss-up. What do you get out of it?
We didn't actually say how they changed the legendary guardians. I guess we could talk about that. So that's your new 21-point talent, 1 mastery point, and instead of gaining that 1, 2, 3, 4 armor per nearby enemy champion, it's now 3 armor, 3 magic resist per nearby enemy champion. So a maximum of 15 armor and magic resist for 1 point, which is pretty good, but you have to get there.
Assuming you're near them. But let's be honest. If you're in a team fight, you're probably near 3 people.
Yeah,
and assuming you want to
15
put
is
that
the
many
maximum.
points in the tree for 15 maximum resistance.
Right.
And for
right.
situational things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
situational.
the
just
bunched
investment
up.
that you have to question and justify.
It's
Yeah.
25 points into the tree for 15 bonus stats.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it. I don't like it.
25 points in the tree. It's 21 points in the tree.
21 points in the tree.
Yeah, 21 is the
Whatever.
minimum
It's
you want in the
21
tree.
points in the tree.
Can we talk about swiftness for 1 second?
Sure.
Because I see a lot of people that leave this on all the time, and it was one of those things that was like, whatever, it's 1 point, it's halfway down, people don't know what else to get.
Right.
Now that it's in your first tier, more people are going to be picking this up.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those things that you should look at your team or at the team you're going against before your game starts and alter. Like when you see the pros change their masteries every game, like this is one of the ones that you should be justifying whether or not you need. Because if the team doesn't have a lot of slows or doesn't have any slows, this might not be something you want to
If
pick
they
up.
have
That's
hard
2
CCs
mastery
and not
points.
slows, you don't need to waste points on it.
Punch.
Right, exactly. Especially now that it's 2 points.
Does this help you at all for AD carries at all for laning?
I didn't think about it.
Is this
I
going
was
to be
thinking about
good
matchups.
when playing against Ashe and her permaslow?
It'd be really hard to justify taking that over just flat health or gen though. Seeing how important it is to sustain in the lane.
Sure.
Yeah.
I might play around with it, but yeah, it'd be hard to justify.
It's probably what I have.
I mean, there's not a lot of Ashe chasing you across the entire lane. Like, oh, I'm slowed forever. That doesn't really happen. You usually die pretty quickly.
Right.
You're not really chased for a long period of
you're
time as an
using
AD carry.
arrow, a W, and your Q or the Q proc to the face, right?
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
by the time that move speed difference like actually kicks into allowing you to move far enough for it to happen, you're probably dead in that
Yeah,
time if
pretty
you're
much.
getting hit anyway. So
Yeah, I feel like that's more of an issue for. Granted, I mean, it could work beautifully in some squishies, but I feel like that's more of an issue for like those tanks that don't have any sort of gap closer. Like, God forbid you get your Ashe against or your Udyr against Ashe, and you're trying to catch up to her or something like that. Like, that's more of an issue. Or you're
What a
playing
painful
Singed
experience.
or something like that, where you have to get next to somebody and you're having trouble doing that.
Might use it against Olaf. for his Q spam on you if it helps. Keep him at bay.
Gloroff says good luck.
Yeah.
Will it be enough to get out of his?
No, Gloroff says good luck. I'm gonna be in front of you before my Q even tries to wear off.
He's like, I get permanent ghost between ghost and righteous glory.
and
if you take chilling smite, you're still running faster than them.
That's funny.
God, what a pain in the ass champion. Love it.
Do we have any other thoughts here on the defensive masteries and what they're changing? I mean, it doesn't really swap anything too hard or push anybody into favor one way or the other, does it?
I mean,
No, I don't think so.
the adaptive armor thing seemed cool until you actually said what the numbers were, and then it was so. It was like,
right. I didn't think about it that way.
It's not even worth the point. Like 1 point, not interested. I'll take this and go elsewhere.
I'll take my point elsewhere. Thank you. Come again, sir.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess we're going to round out the podcast with base turrets because I think we've pretty much hit everything else, right?
We didn't talk about Ashe, but there's not much there.
Is there ever?
Wow.
So
I don't know what that
some
means.
major
Doesn't
changes.
like Ashe.
I hate Ashe.
It's actually kind of significant what they did. So Ashe could gain she could gain multiple stacks of Ranger Focus at once just by hitting multiple things with volley or her ultimate.
Right.
I mean, she could instantly get 5 stacks Ranger Focus and start a team fight with the Q going off. And now she can't do that. If you damage somebody with a spell, you get 1 stack from it. So
which is probably what they
it
intended.
takes longer for Ashe to hit her stride in a team fight.
Makes sense.
Well, good for her. Let's talk about base turrets.
All right, we're done with that.
She lost her Adderall prescription, so she can't focus.
Oh,
Nice.
what would adaptive armor need to make it viable? The problem isn't about viability. I think I could let Days go on a rant for days about the word viable, and so hell, I'm pretty sure Dom has ranted to me about the word viable because it has nothing to do about viability. The ability is viable. It's about making it worth the investment.
Or Vi's abilities.
I'm ignoring you on purpose. I just want you to know that.
In his defense, they might have to revise the numbers on that mastery if they want people to think that it's viable.
If they want people to use it, they would have to make that 1-point wonder a 4-point wonder and make it give quite a bit more bonus armor and magic resist for
so Adam,
stacking.
For clarification, how much resistances does it give you?
4 at 100 bonus armor. 4 magic resist with 100 bonus armor. 100 bonus armor.
So if you buy that thorn mail, you get 4 extra armor.
Yes, you get 4 extra magic resist.
Oh yeah, 4 extra magic resist. My bad. Which is so significant for buying. So significant for buying the item with the most armor in the game.
It's like it's there to promote or to stop stacking of a single stat.
This will fix it right off the bat.
But
the other one
if
right
you're
up there.
stacking a single stat to get stacking a single stat, it's great to get the secondary stat. But the secondary stat probably doesn't matter if you're stacking a single defensive stat.
They say in the context here that it allows champions to itemize heavily in one or the other, while being able to survive their lane matchups. But 4% of your bonus armor magic resist that doesn't come into play during your laning phase. You don't have any bonus armor magic just to take advantage of that.
You get one. You get one MR. Congratulations, right? You did the math so well on that.
Okay, no. Okay, to be fair, let me reread that.
Okay, please.
They're saying you can stack heavily in armor magic just in order to survive your lane, while getting getting a bonus. If the rest of their enemy team is the opposite damage type.
So let's say that like you're going against that Tryndamere in top lane, and they have all the magic damage and let's say that they have Fiddlesticks, Elise, Diana, jungle. They have a big time AP damage person mid, and they have Annie bottom, and you're itemizing against Tryndamere. That's what they want. Like,
it's a good idea in theory, but in practice, the numbers would have to be outrageous for it to work. And at that point, it makes tanks more powerful than.
Well, at that point, you get a lot of free stats for not itemizing for those stats.
Yeah.
So
it's just like a catch-22 mastery. Like it's really almost impossible to balance that.
Yeah.
To where people want to buy it and it's not too overpowered.
And when you think about it, 4%, 4% at 100 bonus whatever, you're getting 4 of the other stat. And when you compare that to the other masteries, okay, that's more value in a single mastery that you're going to get from the other ones, right? You can get hardiness gives you 2 armor for the first rank in it. This can give you 8. But the potential is there, but it just takes a long time to get there. That at that point in the game, that amount of armor magic just isn't really going to be effective.
Well, look at it like Warlord. Anything that goes off of bonus attack or bonus defense, or anything bonus by percentage, a small 1-digit percentage, it's not going to be that significant.
That's why I'd rather have reinforced armor and evasive, because that's going to scale with the amount of damage that you're taking, and you can still itemize to reduce that damage. That's why those 2 points are worth more than the 1 point you put in adaptive armor.
Well, and if Tryndamere makes a comeback, reinforced armor.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Please.
That.
Yeah.
Which reduces crit damage, by the way, in case.
Well, let's talk about base turrets, because we were headed before we got in the red and adaptive armor again. Okay, so the base turrets no longer slow the target if you're being hit by the laser, and the lasers no longer reduce the target's damage if you're tanking it. So you're not penalized for tanking the turret anymore, other than having your armor reduced by the turret. Thoughts?
I never thought about it when I was going tanking the laser. Anyway, I never noticed this hurting me that bad. So
the slow.
I'll still tank it.
The slow was kind of noticeable when you're tanking it and trying to get away.
Yeah, if you were
sticking,
if you were pushing the line between how long that you could stay to attack a turret and when the enemy team was respawning, that slow would be noticeable if they all ended up having home guard and they ended up rushing to you and you were slowed, and then you die and you look stupid while they 4v5 the rest of your team into the ground and take an inhibitor off that. Because how many times have you seen that happen?
But with Galio coming back with the ultimate, they attack you, aggroes the turret, but you put your bulwark on before it heals you because you got the bulwark, and you destroy everybody. So go Galio.
Galio's back.
It's a very specific situation.
Yeah, I know. So for all of you playing Galio after the changes, bulwark yourself and then run into a turret. That's all declodges.
A base
laser turrets.
A base turret.
Yeah, it has to be a base turret.
I just like that they changed
yourself.
all this. That it now promotes more diving under the turret, where you can take the turret shots now. And
easier to crack that nut.
Yeah. So right now there's a lot of play. If you haven't noticed, maybe it's high. I'll say higher level, or maybe the top 10% of the game, or whatever platinum and higher is. There's a lot of time where you have to play around dragons and play around Baron rather than just trying to crack open a base. And this might promote people to not have to wait for that next piece, because they could have a better chance of tower dive. Do I actually think it's going to go that route? Maybe competitive play, sure, but for normal solo queue, I don't think most people notice the slower damage reduction that you got when you tank the turret. It was, I'm tanking a turret, I'm taking damage, do some damage while I'm standing right here. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
You know, I know that this is such a small thing, like in the grand scheme of things, but anything they do just reverse some of the anti-snowball that they have in the game is fine with me. Because I mean, it's a small thing like the damage reduction and things like that, but I mean, that could be the difference between you taking a turret or not. So, and a lot of the turret changes, when they first did the Season 5 changes, the preseason, they said that a lot of the little changes were to give the team that was behind a little bit of a chance to come back and to reduce some of that snowball. So,
it's just
I'm fine.
It's the pendulum swinging once again. Like, this is the buff nerf cycle of all of these games on a competitive level and how they're balanced. Like, as soon as something gets strong and gets pushed one way, it starts swinging back the other way, and we're starting to see that now.
Yep. So yeah, anything they'll do to take rid of the anti-snowball thing, I'm 100% okay with. So. Well,
Runeglaive, wave clearing.
Oh my god! I didn't even see this bug fix. I'm sorry. Champions no
Which
longer
one?
get stuck in walls when trying to move from the fountain to top bot lane via the minimap movement control.
Oh, thank God.
Oh my god, thank God.
They talked about that, wanting to do that a while ago, actually. I saw a lot of people
I
talking
bitched
about
about that like 2 or 3 podcasts ago where I'd click and I'd be like, I'm going to lane and looking at this shop and looking at
30
the
seconds later, 30 seconds later, you're still sitting in base.
No?
Yeah.
Like, why are you in lane? No.
It happens all the time. It just seems like it's happening more and more.
Yeah.
So got so annoyed at that. Another bug fix they will fix. It doesn't look like it's in yet, but skill shots. Every once in a blue moon, a skill shot would pass right through somebody, and you just scratch your head and be like, "How the hell did that happen?" Days, I'm pretty sure that happened to Sona's ult for you.
Yeah, I
really?
was so I still have videos of my ult just going through people. I was so mad.
I've seen thresh hooks go. A thresh hook passed right through me, and I was like, "Well, that was cool.
Well,
I guess I
thanks.
live." I'm not
So,
gonna complain here.
That means
But yeah, it sounds like they're working on fixing that,
So
and
that
they're going to
means
slowly
in
roll that
this-
out because they're changing the code behind the scenes in order to fix it.
Okay, so maybe that's what it is. I was about to say, sorry that I tried to interrupt you like 6 times. That means that the creep blocking has been fixed in 5.12. We'll see that in 5.13. They were playing with creep blocking on the PBE where you won't get blocked walking the lane anymore.
I don't know if that has anything to do with this,
I know,
but I didn't see a mention
it-
of it here, so I'm assuming.
I'm saying it's a bug fix. It's like it's a
Okay, just in general, yeah.
It's more or less going back to the stuck bug fix where you get stuck in the wall. Now you don't get stuck in the wall. Do you not get stuck behind minions? Because how many times have you walked to bottom or top or whatever and you get stuck behind that one fucking caster minion that won't move out of your goddamn way?
No, that usually happens to me when I'm fighting someone. I just get stuck in like 3 minutes.
Well, what about, has anyone ever noticed Baron Nashor killing the Rift Scuttler? I haven't.
I have not seen that yet. But that's
That's
hilarious.
pretty cool. I never thought about that. Yeah, because if he does that and they had no idea, all of a sudden it's like, the hell? Are they doing Baron? We didn't have any wards there. Oh, how'd we get the Rift Scuttler? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen either.
I almost wish that Baron got the ward, and like
He's the only one.
yeah, like it increases his range to like the middle of the river or something. He's like,
who
you have to
gets
pay
it?
for this.
Who gets it if no one hits the Rift Scuttler but Baron?
You just start seeing Baron start beating the hell out
You
of the
see like
crab.
a yellow circle there? Yeah, nobody, no, red or green.
So the what's the rumor? Oh yeah, we didn't unlock Mundo for the pool party stuff, did we?
Nope.
Huh?
Got everything else, but not Mundo.
We didn't unlock Mundo.
What did you guys unlock? Do the unlocks?
No. Everybody did. Anybody who played in a party of 5 over the last couple of weeks did the pool party stuff. And the
we did?
final, if we gained as a total community 55 million points, every single person got pool party Mundo, but we didn't get it.
Instead, we get pool party minions.
I will say though,
Which is
during
pretty cool.
that whole week,
The
Forward to that.
minions are cool.
yeah, during that whole week though, the only thing I did was play Tips games. So I don't know what all you other slackers were doing.
I was
I
slacking.
sent gifts.
All right.
Yeah, no, I did stuff. Okay, I can't imagine they spent all this time with Pool Party Mundo and not do something with it. I have a feeling that we're all going to get Pool Party Mundo at some point.
Oh, they're selling it.
Are
Yeah,
they
you can buy it.
are they turning around and selling it now? Is that what it is?
Sure.
Maybe it'll be
It
a
says
pack
new pool party skins will be released during patch 5.12.
So we could have gotten it
Lulu,
for free.
Mundo, Rek'Sai, and Zac.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to tell you
You
what the full
sound
party.
so angry.
I am angry. I wanted it free.
You wanted
You're
it
like,
for free.
maybe they would have given it to us anyway. Like we're the punished children that the parents
God,
are gonna
Adam,
just
you-
give into.
you
like,
are so
oh,
entitled.
I'm so sorry. You look so sad. Here,
I do-
have it anyway for not doing what we asked.
No,
you to
that's
do.
not what I meant. By giving it to us anyway, I meant they're going to give it to us to pay for it anyway. God
That might
damn
not
it.
be what you meant, but that's all we heard.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's what you meant.
whatever. I'm going to buy every single one of these pool party skins because the Rek'Sai one is fucking
Okay,
hilarious.
I barely
Rek'Sai's
buy
great.
skins. I do want to play as a shark.
I don't know. I think with the pool party Mundo skin, Riot's trying to tell you that you kill a Lee. You know, that's how you counter Lee.
So
That was so bad.
Remember how I had an announcement of an announcement of an
Shut up.
announcement of an
Stop
announcement?
announcing.
stop.
I am done
I
announcing
think that you're
of
the
the
reason.
announcement.
So wait,
he's
I don't
bringing
believe
it
you.
back.
wait.
Are you
You're
denouncing
making-
your announcing of the
Yeah,
announcement?
I am denouncing my announcement of the announcement of the announcement.
Is this an announcement of you announcing that you're done announcing
No,
announcements?
this is
It's an announcement that he's denouncing his announcement.
This is an announcement that I apologize for announcing something that was going to be an announcement. Instead, all I'm announcing is that something is going to happen on some Thursday, eventually in the year 2015. I don't know when it is.
You
I don't know
just
about
jinxed
that.
us for the rest of the year.
I
straight
can't help it.
All right. I'm so disappointed on so many levels. Adam is the boy who cried Warwick.
I can't help it. The River King. It was his fault.
No,
It was
you
his
get out.
Tom.
What?
Fuck. I hate you. I hate you so much.
Well, they were on a Tom Kench to get him out, so
Oh.
they had to do it.
You held that one for the fucking podcast video.
I did because in tweeting it in text, you got to say it the right way, and it's just people wouldn't have got it as well. So
All
I
right.
didn't have punch that thing later.
You weren't lied to, Andrew.
Yeah,
You're not lied to. All I'm saying is I have
Andrew
no
was-
control over the announcement of the announcement, okay? I have no
See,
control over it.
This is what happens when you announce things that you should just let happen.
I can't. I'm so
just let it-
excited, though.
Well, shut your whore mouth and let it happen.
That's what she said.
I feel like your announcement of announcement is the equivalent of me going, I'm not playing support anymore. Nobody
know, I've seen
believes
those.
it anymore.
I've
Nobody
seen
will
those.
ever believe
No,
it.
I mean
What
it's
when
the
you say
same.
you won't play Sona anymore, then I don't believe you.
It's the
I've
same
been playing through the
bullshit.
chance, thank you.
Adam's like, I think I'm gonna learn how to mid, and then he plays mid for 2 weeks, and it's like, I'm going back to top.
I played jungle.
How many times have you changed roles?
I don't
Because we
know.
all lose LP too much, we're like, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, I ain't doing this anymore. I'm going back to the lane.
Not worth it.
Yeah. Let me go get my LP back.
I
Where's
actually-
Sona?
I actually had a realization the other day that I am like Days in the fact that I'm like a one-trick pony because I can only like play Rumble and Maokai like amazingly, and then everything else is just kind of like A tier compared to those champions.
Yeah.
See, you say that, but you say that.
You're so
but-
angry, Stuart.
I know.
But this was
can't
the
breathe.
same shit when you could only play Renekton for the longest time.
Dude, my
too.
Renekton was damn
Remember
good too.
that? Remember when he could only play MF? Do you remember like back in?
Oh
those
my
days?
god, way back in the day,
Do
yes.
you remember when his Azir was God tier and we played it against the LCS rundown
I
for one
remember.
game and he says, never let me play this ever again?
And I haven't. I'm just gonna point out I've never
No,
played a
yeah,
zero
I
since
hate
that
that.
day.
Ugh. No, you say that, and then as soon as you play it and we lose anywhere, like, yeah, but I had the best ult in the game. It's just like, all right.
And then you'll clip it up and then
I gotta make
post a
myself feel
video of
better.
it next game.
Yeah.
Gotta make myself
Adam, I
feel
think
better.
you're
See this
versatile.
ult?
The only time Adam's honest is when he gets drunk, Rumble ults poorly, and then posts it on the subreddit.
That was great. Come on, that was a great ultimate too. I wasn't even drunk. That was middle of the day. That was like 10 a.m.
But
not
everything Adam does either has to be the best or the worst of something.
Yeah.
Like he either has to be doing something so amazingly well it needs recognition,
You know
or so
what?
amazingly
You're not
poorly.
wrong.
I like this because it's usually at the end of the show becomes the let's shit on Shira hour because I just let it happen. And you know what? I'm glad that the shoe's on the other foot.
You know what? I'm gonna defend Adam a little bit though. It's not your proficiency in all the champions that really matters. It's your shot calling and it's your awareness of what's going on in the game that carries you to where you're at.
And
Of course
also,
it's shot calling.
it's not your fault that the champions don't act the way that they're supposed to. And that,
Shut the fuck up about Azir.
Dick
Cheer up.
Pod is so fucking politically correct and so
I know.
sweet and nice. We're all like completely bashing, and he comes in and goes, "No, Adam, really, you're good at this game. We promise."
I'm not
Don't
even
let
saying
them
that.
get you down,
All
Adam.
my point is that I was playing an Aram like 2 weeks ago and I got Rumble and I fucking shit on kids as it. But then I go in there as like Evelyn and I got no fucking clue what I'm doing and I'm trying to play the champion and I'm like, well, I suck at this game. And then I just realized I'm really good at these champions and I suck with everything else comparatively.
But if we ask if you could play somebody, you can play 'em.
absolutely.
100% you can play every
Absolutely
champion.
play
It's okay. We're justified because all that research that Horse did said one-trick ponies climb faster.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
true.
That is very true.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're justified in our.
But I do have to dial back and say, when you were really good with Renekton, Cho'Gath beat you.
Oh, fuck off. All right, guys, we're ending the podcast right now. That's it. That's episode number 271 of the Trinity Force podcast. Fuck you all. See you all next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.